Rebuild your mindset to succeed in trading. When most of us first enter the financial markets, we tend to focus all our energy on finding a strategy that can help us make money. Seeing others flaunt high profits, luxury cars, and fancy homes, we often assume they must have discovered some kind of secret, magical formula. And so, we begin our journey learning, testing, switching, then giving up over and over again. The cycle repeats endlessly. There's no real depth, no true growth. Some people manage to stick with one method, but they still fail to master their emotions. Greed lingers. Fear of loss still dominates. As a result, they place oversized trades, refuse to cut losses, overtrade endlessly, and eventually, their accounts vanish. You can have a strategy, but if you can't control your emotions, you will still fail. So where does the real problem lie? It lies within us. Trading is a profession that forces you to confront yourself. And to win in the markets, you must first win over yourself, conquer your greed, your impatience, your fear, and that ego quietly hiding deep inside. If you observe carefully, truly successful traders are often calm and composed. They don't shout, they don't show off. They're humble, and they tend to live quietly, away from the spotlight. Why? Because they've overcome their ego. They know when enough is enough. They have nothing to prove to anyone. The flashy images you often see online are sometimes just marketing tools. Not necessarily right or wrong, but they're not the essence of what trading really is. There's something crucial that rarely gets mentioned, even in expensive trading courses: the foundational mindset and philosophy. Many people learn how to trade, but no one teaches them how to think like a trader. No one tells them how to view the world through a trader's lens. And today, I want to help bring you closer to that perspective, of view that reaches from the roots within to the behaviors on the outside. The first principle to remember is, no strategy is absolutely right. Every method is just one way of seeing things. At the same time, one person might buy while another might sell, and both can be right or wrong. This leads to one clear conclusion: never chase after strategies. Don't keep jumping from one system to another. Instead, turn inward and ask yourself, what do I truly want? What kind of person am I? How much time can I really devote to trading? If you came to trading hoping for more time with your family, don't choose an approach that requires staring at the screen all day. If you can only trade between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m., choose a strategy that fits those hours. If you're patient and prefer a slower pace, a long-term method may suit you. On the other hand, if you enjoy speed, you can choose scalping, but only if you're disciplined and stick to clear rules and limits. Another essential component is the formula for generating consistent profits. It's the combination of win rate and reward to risk ratio. You don't need to win every trade. What matters is that your winners are large enough to cover your losses. For example, even if you win only 40% of the time, if each winning trade is 3 times the size of your losses, you can still be profitable. The core mindset in trading is probabilistic thinking. Nothing is guaranteed in the markets. You need to think like a casino owner. They don't worry about someone winning a single round, they focus on the long-term probabilities. Over time, they win. A smart trader must do the same, not aiming to win every trade, but to win statistically in the long run. So this video is not about teaching you a magical method. I have no intention of giving you a fixed formula that will make you rich if you simply follow it. Instead, I want you to pause for a moment, look within, and ask yourself, why am I stepping into this market? What do I truly want from trading money, freedom, or personal growth? Have I chosen the right strategy for myself, or am I just copying others? And most importantly, do I truly understand and control myself? If you begin to answer these questions, I believe your trading journey will enter a new chapter. It will no longer be a game of luck. It will become a journey of self-development. And on that journey, you may not just find profits, you might discover a deeper understanding of yourself. Trading can be a mirror. It reflects your greed, your impatience, your lack of discipline, and even the subconscious beliefs you're afraid to face. But if you know how to observe and learn, trading can help you grow a little more each day. And that, I believe, is the greatest gift this profession can offer. If this message has touched you, don't forget to like and help share this value. And if you know someone who needs to hear it, share it with them so they don't have to wander down the wrong path. Thank you. Have you ever placed too much hope in a trade just because your analysis was thorough? You thought, I've seen all the signals, checked all the boxes, this one has to work. If so, you may be falling into a common mindset trap. A beautiful setup must lead to a win. But the market never promised you that. In trading, no setup is ever certain. Even if you check every factor, even if every indicator aligns, the outcome still comes down to probability. Once you truly grasp this, you'll stop letting emotions dictate your trades. You'll stop putting all your hope into a single shot. And most importantly, you'll stop risking too much on any one trade. Think about it. If you no longer have unrealistic expectations for a trade, would you still feel the urge to go all in? If you accept that every trade is just a small part of a much longer series, is there any reason to bet big on one? It's this flawed perception of probability that drives traders to over-leverage, which often leads to blown accounts. So changing how you view each trade isn't just about tactics, it might actually save your account. Now let's talk about another vital concept, risk-to-reward ratio. There are two distinct aspects to understand. First, the risk-to-reward on your winning trades. If you judge a strategy based only on a few big wins, you're looking at the market far too short-term. Once you understand probability, you'll stop asking why one trade hit a big profit while another lost. You'll stop wondering why some setups seem worth betting more on, because deep down, you'll know that no one can predict which trade will work. All subjective judgment is just expectation, and expectations, more often than not, are double-edged swords. So should you bet everything on a trade that feels promising? Or should you stick with consistent position sizing and let the probabilities play out? If you truly understand that every trade you take, win or lose, still carries an average profit expectancy of 0.7R, then what is there to worry about? What are you afraid of each time you enter a trade? When you approach trading with the mindset that all you need to do is follow the process and, over the long run, you'll be profitable, you've shifted from emotion to logic. You've started to view the market as a game of probabilities, not a gamble of luck. Ask yourself, do you enter trades believing they must win? Or do you place your trust in a system you've personally validated? And to have that trust, what do you need? A well-defined process of testing and validation. This process isn't for those looking to cut corners. It's for those who are truly committed to the long journey. First, you must choose a method that suits your personality and long-term vision. You need to deeply understand its theory and principles. But even that isn't enough. You have to personalize it, adjust it, fine-tune it, and modify it to make it your own. Then comes the testing phase, and this isn't just a test over a few trades. You must test hundreds, even thousands of trades. You can backtest by going through historical charts, candle by candle. This process allows you to save money and drastically reduce your learning time. What might take you a month to experience in live trading, you can compress into a single day with backtesting. Do you see the advantage here? You're not only learning faster, but you're also learning in a zero-risk environment. In the early stages of backtesting, don't rush to trust the results. Disregard the first 50 to 100 trades because, at that stage, you haven't mastered the system yet. Only when you've gained control and adapted the system to suit you should you begin collecting reliable statistics. And for that, you need at least 500 trades. That's the minimum required to paint an accurate picture of your probabilities. From there, you identify two core metrics. Your win rate and your average are per trade. If those numbers are consistent, you can move on to the next phase, trading with a cent account. A cent account means putting in a very small amount of real money and trading in real market conditions. Why a cent account and not a demo? Because only when you risk real money will real emotions show up. And only then will you know whether you truly have psychological control. Live markets test not just your system, but your inner self. If after 3 months of trading a cent account, you're still consistently profitable and emotionally stable, then you may consider stepping up to a larger real money account. Why start small? Because the real market strikes hardest at your emotions. Even if you've tested thoroughly, real money trading feels different. That's why you must start small to train your mind. And if after another 3 months you're still maintaining consistency, still confident in your system, only then should you increase your capital and your lot size. You see, there is no step in this process that is unnecessary. There is no step you should skip, and none that should be paid for with the cost of a blown account. So don't buy into the belief that you must lose big to learn. Don't believe you must fail hard to succeed. You can absolutely avoid all that if you have the right process. Trading isn't a game of emotion. Trading is the work of a person with a process. And if you walk that path, success is no longer a question of if, but when. So the question becomes, are you ready to walk that path to the end? Are you ready to dedicate 6 months, a year, or even a few years to build a strong foundation instead of chasing quick profits that often lead to quick losses? This is a serious question you must answer for yourself. Because if you're not truly committed to the long game, sooner or later, you'll fall into the same traps: overtrading, emotional entries, reckless position sizing, and eventually, you'll have to start over. Perhaps you've heard of rebuilding an account, but have you ever thought about rebuilding your mindset and your expectations? Most people fail in trading not because they lack knowledge, but because they bring the wrong expectations into the market. Expectations of fast wealth, expectations of constant wins, expectations of a flawless system that never loses, expectations that someone else, a mentor, a signal, a method can hand them a shortcut. But there are no shortcuts in trading. And because there are no shortcuts, the right path often gets ignored. It's not exciting. It's not glamorous. It's not like those stories of doubling an account in a week. But it is the only path that leads to stability, and stability is what you need most. You can have a big win in 1 week, but if you lose it all the next month, are you really progressing? Or are you simply spinning inside an emotional cycle where every win sends you soaring with overconfidence, and every loss plunges you into despair? Start looking at the market not as a place to make quick money, but as a brutal environment where you forge discipline, patience, and emotional resilience. You've probably heard the phrase, trading is simple, but not easy. It's simple because, in theory, you only need a system with positive expectancy and the discipline to follow it. But it's not easy because that discipline is what most people lack. Why? Because the human mind isn't wired to win at a game of high uncertainty and volatility. Human instincts crave certainty, safety, control. But the market offers none of that. It is a place of chaos. The best you can do is accept controlled risk and let probability play out. So to succeed, you don't just need a system. You need the psychological adaptability to thrive in a world of uncertainty. And that ability doesn't come from reading books or listening to a great speaker. It comes from real experience each trade, each emotion, each moment where your account goes up and down and yet you remain calm. That's why the phase of trading a cent account is so crucial. When you place even a small amount of real money into the market, you begin to feel the pressure that no textbook can replicate. Have you ever seen professional traders enter a position without a hint of tension? It's not because they're emotionless. It's because they've been through enough to understand that no single trade determines anything. Only a series of trades tells the real story. And because they truly grasp that, they no longer get swept away by every small fluctuation. They act according to a plan. They follow their system. And they let results come as a natural consequence, not as something they anxiously await. Can you become someone like that? Absolutely. If you're willing to let go of unrealistic expectations and start building a solid foundation. And if you've read this far, maybe something inside you is already ready. Ready for a different approach. Ready for a slower path, but one that's more enduring. Maybe you've realized that what you truly need is not a single big win, but a system that can survive in all market conditions. From this moment forward, make a commitment to yourself. No more jumping from method to method. No more expecting every trade to win. No more entering positions just because they feel like a sure thing. No more skipping any steps in building a real, robust system. Write down your process, record your stats, manage every acceptable risk, and above all, face your emotions day by day, trade by trade, breath by breath. Because if you can keep doing that long enough, the market will eventually reward you with what you truly deserve. Success doesn't come like a miracle. It comes as the natural result of discipline, persistence, and a sound process. And if you're on the right path, the question is no longer if you will succeed, but whether you have the patience to wait for success to arrive. Trading is not a game of fleeting emotions, nor is it a place to satisfy the ego. Trading is a long journey where you must learn to view the market as a series of probabilities and see yourself as a part of that system. Each trade does not represent your worth. Each result does not reflect your value as a person. What matters is whether you're acting according to a system with positive expectancy and whether you're clear-headed enough to stay disciplined even when the market makes you question everything. Remember why you started, not to win a few trades and lose it all the next day. You started because you wanted freedom. You wanted control. You wanted to take charge of your life. But true freedom doesn't come from guessing the market right. It comes when the market no longer controls your emotions. And to reach that point, there are no shortcuts, only the process, one step at a time. One test at a time, each mistake carefully corrected. Each stat diligently recorded. None of it is glamorous. But those things will become the backbone of your sustainable trading journey. You don't need to win every trade. You just need to win in a way your system allows. And more importantly, you need to survive long enough for your system to shine. You see, success in trading doesn't happen overnight. But it will happen if you're patient enough, disciplined enough, and humble enough to keep improving yourself instead of blaming the market. Thank you for your time, for your openness to reflect on yourself through stories that few are willing to tell. I am not a teacher. I'm just someone who came before you. Someone who's been broken by the market, who's made mistakes, who's paid the price. And I share these things not to teach, but to remind myself and to reach those who still feel lost. I hope you found something here for yourself. Something to nod at, something to sit with, something to help you take the next step even if your last trade was a loss, even if the past week was a mess. And if you're ready to keep going, join me in the next video. We still have much to talk about trading, about ourselves, and about this strange journey that only those resilient enough will ever complete.